Hey guys, this is going to be my overview of the VFC BCM licensed MCMR rifle. It's a new rifle and it looks pretty close to the real BCM, though the real one is anodized a bit darker and it has a bit more of an oily appearance. Another difference that I noticed is the texture on the grip is a little bit larger than it is on the real BCM grips. The real BCM stock is really annoying to take on and off, so VFC added tabs at the back so you can open it from the back to access the battery compartment.
So how does it run out of the box? Here's a half-charged 11-1 Li-ion battery, our test battery. Pull the trigger slowly so you see where the brake is. It's pretty good for a stock gearbox. Now let's try it on 7.4. It'll be a little slower. But it still feels quite good because it has the ETU and it has a neodymium magnet motor.
Now it's time for a shooting test. This is a metal 3.5-inch target at 22 yards.
Alright guys, it's time for the takedown of the VFC BCM rifle. Mag out. I'm going to separate the receivers. Receiver halves, I mean. Close the dust cover so it doesn't interfere with this. And then I push forward on the forward assist. Release the charging handle a bit, otherwise it'll get stuck at the top of the gearbox right here. And it'll slide off. And then we can remove the stock. So, to remove the stock, we press this up, put our little tool through, pull down, and it comes out. Looks like they all come with Dean's connector instead of Tamiya, so that's a good step up. I'm going to remove the buffer tube. There's just a screw in the middle here. I'm trying to feel around for it because I can't really see it. The buffer tube screws into the back of the spring guide inside the gearbox. Push these two out, and then remove the buffer tube. It's a nice little BCM licensed sling plate. The grip is a little different. You squeeze these two little tabs together, flip the cap, and the motor plate base just comes out. Use some pliers to lift, and the motor comes out. Well, should come out. So we have the VFC neodymium magnet motor. It's pretty decent. The wire routing for this grip is a little different. It's similar to how you would route the EPGC in that you have both wires routed around the front of the grip instead of the back. which would be standard on, say, an A2 grip. That wasn't too bad. Sometimes it takes a lot of effort to take the mag release out without scratching that part of the receiver. So one thing about VFC receivers, you can tell someone that's worked on a lot of VFCs versus a noob. This pin and this pin, they come out in opposite directions. So the little gearbox pin here goes out this way. See the knurling here? This side is knurled. And then the rear receiver pin just goes out the opposite direction. A lot of people fuck that up and push the knurled side through the gearbox, which isn't very good. Alright, onto the gearbox. The shell is the standard VFC QSC shell. You got the mock bolt release here, you got bearings. Looks like they have the improved black piston and the new steel spring guide. So you don't have to worry about the spring guide tabs breaking off or anything like that. Just going to release that anti-reversal latch there before we take this screw out and get to the guts of the gun. Alright, now it's time to open it up. If you do it gently enough, you can actually open these apart and keep the warranty sticker intact. Like so. Little trick. So what do we have here? We have VFC's new black piston. It actually seems quite durable. I've milled a few of these just to check what the material is. The plastic seems actually quite good, and the steel seems pretty decent. We got aluminum piston head, standard VFC cylinder assembly, standard VFC tappet plate. Now one feature that they have here is the new VFC optical trigger unit. It's kind of interesting because they made it so that the trigger itself uses this optical sensor, and you have an optical sensor for the sector gear as well.
This seems to be an improved version of the VFC ETU. The color is slightly different, and it looks like it's a lot more reliable than the ones that we've seen in the past. We haven't had any issues with any of the new ones that we've seen. The new VFC black piston seems to be quite an improvement over the previous red piston that VFC used, and the rest internals look like standard VFC fare.
It feels pretty good. There's a slight leak, but it's pretty good for a stock gun. Alright, let's put it all back together. Everything looks good to go. Make sure the piston's aligned and free moving, and then push it back forward with a spring. Then you always have to remember that this gearbox pin goes in from the opposite side as this pin does. It's very hard to see this stuff because the camera's blocking all my light. So I'm kind of putting these screws in by feel. Now we put the motor in, make sure that the wires are routed through the front. There we go. Now for the magazine release. Gotta be kind of careful so you don't scratch the receiver when you do this. So you spin it this way a couple times, then you push it through as far as you can, and then spin this thing on. And there we go. And I put this thing back on. Some people don't know. In order to get this lined up, you actually have to push this down. So you push this thing down, and then you hook the bolt catch through. There you go. I kind of like to guide the washer down with the screwdriver. That way, I don't have to line the Phillips head. Line it up at the bottom when I can't see it. This is just so much easier. And there you go.
Thank you guys for watching, and if you have any comments, questions, or feedback, please post away. See ya!